Hello everyone, I'm back in the United States. I'm here in New Hampshire. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Ron Frost. I'm a speaker, I'm a motivational speaker, I'm an author, and I'm an empowerment coach. And I'm here to help people really live their best life ever, whatever that might be. And so I share a lot of these videos, and today I want to start with how grateful I am for the month of June. I was on a cycling journey. I cycled in Italy, I cycled in Ireland. For a little bit, I was in London. I actually did this with friends. There's a friend of mine that you'll see in some of these videos. His name is Jay, and he's part of a cycling organization in a cycling club in London, and they had this big event that was going on, which was cycling in Italy, and I was invited to that. So I'm very, very grateful for that. I met him when I was doing the salt ride in India, and he's been like a brother to me. So it's great that I was able to attend this, and of course I spent some time with him in London and met some other friends, and also cycled around London. And then later I went to, I think it was the 17th of June. I met my friend John. You've seen me cycle with John before. We were college roommates back in the day, and it was wonderful. We cycled in Ireland. It was up the Wild Atlantic Way. A few of the paths that we took were off the Wild Atlantic Way, and they were just as enjoyable going through farm country. Ireland is very green, as you know, and yeah, a lot of sheep through the hills. You'd see sheep pretty much everywhere. And the bikes that we happened to pick up there at a bike shop in Galway were the perfect bikes. We had panniers, the bags, and everything to carry our stuff, and everything went perfectly. Even though my cell phone was dead for like 3.5 days, it was like the unplanned yet everything working out absolutely perfectly. So that's part of my message today. I feel that there's 4 principles that I want to share. These are key takeaways. And whether it's in your life, whether it's in your relationships, whether it's in your business, if you're feeling stuck, if you feel like things aren't moving forward, or you've had some sort of disruption, maybe it was a loss of a job, maybe you suddenly had to move, or maybe a loss of a loved one, or divorce, or something that kind of separates you or makes you recheck life, or maybe you're just feeling stuck, like things are not moving forward, or you can't get out of that comfort zone, or when you try to go out the door, you're met with that feeling of resistance, fear, worry, and doubt, or kind of not moving forward the way you want to. These 4 things I think you're going to find are key. And if you have a pen and paper, I would write them down, and I'm going to kind of quickly share them, and I'm going to dive into them deeper. But number 1 is follow your highest desire, your highest passion, your highest joy, whatever that is. Number 2, navigate your life relative to your human design. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. I'm going to touch on that. It's a deep subject, but I'm also going to talk about how you can get your design snapshot yourself, as well as be part of a workshop that myself and my business partner, Jen, is going to be doing with us. So navigate life relative to your human design. And then be of heart-centered service, whatever way that is. Maybe it's through your creative channels, or maybe it's just being present for others. Heart-centered service is going to change. It's part of the thing that creates magic in the world. And the last thing, which is very relatable to heart-centered service, but it's just being in gratitude. Gratitude, you've heard me talk about that before. It's the seed of awakening. You know, it's a seed of creating synchronicities and abundance in your life. It's a life hack. And when things aren't going well, find something to be grateful for. That changes everything. All right, dive in deeper into this. My passions are speaking. My passions are being in nature. My passions are cycling. I don't know what yours are, but I would jot them down, whatever comes to mind. There's a saying from a channeler. His name is Daryl Anka. He channels a being called Bashar. And whether you believe in that or not, the message, it's the more about the message. Basically, he shares, follow your highest excitement. as far as you can in any given moment with no concrete expectation of the outcome. We always get fixated. It's got to be a certain way, but Spirit, the universe, your higher self, God, knows the best way. And so when you dive into life just by following your highest excitement, whatever that is, and I would jot those down, whatever's your highest joy, highest passion, or use the word that fits, when you start to follow that, and don't worry about putting in too many details. The details will fill themselves in. Just know that if it's nature, whether it's being with certain friends or reminiscing about what was it that lit you up before, maybe do more of that. So when you can, or go back to your childhood, how did you play? How were you pretending, right? Pre meaning before, tend meaning a tendency, a way of being, pre-being. Like, where were you when you were pre-being? What was the joy? What was the thing that was animating? What is the things that really light you up? Go with that. Sometimes we feel like it's got to be some sort of concrete, big life purpose. It doesn't have to be. Like I said, I love speaking. I'm doing this video right now. I'm doing a podcast with my friend Jen, and we're having fun with this. So where is it that you have fun? For me, cycling is fun. Meeting people is fun. It can be the little things. So jot that down and start to play with that, because energetically, that's going to shift a lot of things. The other, like Bashar also shares, insistence creates resistance. So if you're insisting on an outcome to be a certain way and it doesn't show up exactly that way, you're going to find that, you're going to feel this resistance, and the miracle of life will guide you. The miracle of life will open the doors of opportunities. The miracle of life will show up the right person, the right situation. And it may not necessarily look the way you originally thought. But when you follow that thread, it starts to lead you. Maybe it's just this morning you want to go walk on a beach. Maybe you want to go to some sort of business networking event that you've never been to before. Maybe you want to call a friend. Whatever that is that's being excited within you, follow that. Take action, because it's the moment that we start to begin to move. Most of us, fear, worry, and doubt prevents us from getting out the door, right? The moment we start to move forward with whatever it is, we can't get it wrong. We can't get it wrong. And when we're moving in our highest joy, highest excitement, that's where true miracles start to begin. So number one, do that. Number two, take a look at your human design. Now, there's a link that I'm going to provide below this video where you can actually get your design snapshot. It's part of the website that Jen Pinkstone and myself are doing. And we're also going to be doing a workshop somewhere around August 8th, but it may not be exactly August 8th. We know that's the Lionsgate portal, so we kind of want to work with the energy of that. But this workshop is going to be key, as well as looking at your design snapshot and being part of our program. We're approaching human design completely different than anybody else out there, and it's part of being more personalized. You don't need to know everybody else's chart. Basically, it's focusing more on you. And when you navigate life relative to the way your energy works, we're all part of the one infinite source of creation, but we have uniqueness that's being expressed. And we had an energetic soul signature when we came birthed into this reality. And it is measured and defined uniquely. And when you start to know that, you start to wake up. You start to have that aha feeling. The whole time I was, trying to follow everybody else, march to what everybody else is doing. And I realized that I'm wired differently, right? Everybody else is riding a bike and I'm in a canoe and I got a paddle. Oh, that's the realization right there. So with myself, I found out that I'm a human design projector. And one of the key things with a human design projector is we are best to wait for the invitation. It's not that we can't go out and initiate things and try to make things happen, but sometimes things just don't work that way for us. Quite often, we're being brought into a situation. And so a good example is when I was invited to do the salt ride in India. That opened the doorway to meet so many friends. Jay was one of them. Jay was the guy that called me and asked me, Ron, would you like to ride in Italy? So That was an invitation. So when you start to tune into things that are invitations, maybe it's within your work, maybe it's but if you are a projector, again, it's based on your energy type. Follow that strategy that works for your energy type. It's going to be different for a manifesting generator, a manifester, a generator, a reflector. Everybody's got their own key strategy. But when you follow that, you're going to start to notice, oh, life starts working easier. Oh, things start showing up better. And it's like, I was never wrong. I was never, broken. I was just like trying to follow everybody else, and I'm uniquely different. The other thing is I'm an emotional projector. So my authority is basically guided by what I would call clarity, not an immediate jump in with this super high excitement or a super low like energy. It's about letting that cycle go through like at least a 24-hour period and knowing, does this still feel good to me? Does this still align? And also knowing your theme, and a non-self theme. Theme would be where you are in alignment, and non-self theme is where you're out of alignment. And so for me, success, for a projector, it's success, that feeling of success. And I could say, just thinking about riding my bike in Italy, that was like, oh, that feels successful in my body. That feels joy, or whatever word that you want to use that's relative to your theme. So look at your human design. You're probably going to say, oh, that's been me all along. It's like a permission slip to your soul. So when you start to look into that, and the link's going to be below for your design snapshot, when you start to look into that, you're going to start to uncover a new way of being able to navigate through life that opens doors, that opens opportunities, that makes things happen, that really, you're not going to be in that zone of frustration. You're going to be in that feeling of knowing that everything is working out. The true magic is going to start to unfold. And as I'm sharing this, I got a bee that's right here. I don't know if he's going to get on camera. Oh, did you see him buzz by my head? There he goes again. So a lot of times I'm noticing dragonflies, I'm noticing bees, I'm noticing birds. Like when I was on my cycling trip, there were birds that would just fly with me. They would be right in front of my handlebars. I had a little dragonfly at one time that was cruising along, and I'm like so surprised that he could fly at the same rate of speed because I was moving along pretty well. A little green dragonfly was just right by my handlebars, and as I was going along, I'm like, hey, dragonfly, thank you for joining this journey with me. So the last thing is, there's two more things. One is being of heart-centered service. Now you could do that in almost any way. When I was doing the ride in India, that was down the Gandhi Trail, the same path that Gandhi did in 1930, which was called the Salt March. Go Dharmic, who's the organization that put this together, called it the Salt Ride. And there was 12 of us that were riding, and we raised funds, and part of this went to planting trees, part of this went to school systems. We actually visited some of these schools, which was very, very heart-opening, just to see the children, just to be with them, and just to know how much joy they had for seeing us. But we also, the fundraising also went to support some of the school programs, building libraries. They didn't have libraries, and Go Dharmic put these together, and also computer technology labs, things that are really going to enrich the education of a child. Because when you realize it's not like schools in the U.S., they don't have quite as many things that we would have here, and a child is the future. It's the future of our planet. So enriching the life of a child, really, it feels good to you. So do the things that feel good. On a cycling journey, both whether I was with Jay and that group or with John, it was almost about connecting with other people, listening to other stories. Everybody, whether it's another cyclist, we met a lot of hikers, we met a lot of locals. There was one time where John and I were just looking for a place to sit down. I think we had just arrived in Westport, Ireland, and there was a table where there was two gentlemen and there was two empty chairs, and they both said, hey, just sit with us. And we started connecting with them and realized that they are from an Irish band. One of them is, I think his name is Andreas. The other one is Patty. Andreas is like a lead, one of the singers in the band, and he's a keyboardist. And Patty did the wind instruments and flute and everything. And so they, just listening to the story was wonderful. And they said, "Oh yeah, we traveled to the U.S. also." And they started listing towns, and one of them was the Fort Myers Irish Festival. And I've been to that festival, and I've probably seen them perform before. So the connections that you make along life, they really matter. They really matter. And getting to know people and getting to know their story, this is part of that heart-centered service. Being a listener, holding the space for somebody else to share. I remember coming down, John and I hiked Crow Patrick, which is the mountain. It's a very, very steep climb, especially near the end. And we were in the clouds, so we could see quite off in the distance, but except for when we got to the top, we were totally in clouds. But it was so beautiful. There's so many people that hiked it. It's a mountain that's named after St. Patrick. And when we were coming down, John noticed there was a Irish family. They were from a different part of Ireland, and actually were soaking their feet from the hike. They're soaking their feet in a cold local like stream that was just off the path. And so John and I both took our shoes and socks off. We sat in there with them and started talking with them. It turned out the father, he was the same age as both myself and John. And the family was wonderful. They have an agricultural background. They noticed my John Deere hat. And yeah, just sharing life with other people and getting to know other people. It's opening the door of that conversation, I think, is really, really important. So whatever way, maybe it's a creative talent that you have, maybe it's just getting out there and meeting people. Heart-centered service doesn't have to be overly complicated. I mean, you can be part of a food pantry. You can be part of a service that's like Doctors Without Borders, or you can take whatever talent. You can go beyond, but just being a listener, just being present. Presence is probably one of the most needed commodities today, and you can deliver that. And when you do that, you're amplifying, you're raising the vibration of this planet. You're raising the vibration of the other person as well as yourself. And so the last one is being grateful for everything. Being grateful for the butterfly that flies, just saying hello, saying thank you to the butterfly that flies in front of you. Noticing the synchronicities and saying thank you for that. If you're seeing numbers like 1111 or 144 or whatever number pattern, every time you see it, say thank you. Because you're going to receive more of not only that, but it's going to open the opportunity for more synchronicities. Synchronicities with events, opportunities, with people, with so much more. And so the tough one is, I would say, be thankful for the plot twist. When you watch a movie and you expect something to be a certain way, and then all of a sudden it's flipped upside down, and it's the whodunit is a whole different person. Well, in life, quite often we get so asphyxiated that something has to be a certain way. Something has to be a certain way. Or I won't be happy until I get this, or I won't be happy until this happens. But be thankful. Be thankful for the relationship that, maybe got terminated, but then you met somebody better. It opened the opportunity for somebody better. Or the job that you thought you were going to get and they hired somebody else, but then it opened up for a better job, a better opportunity, maybe more money. Maybe it led to a connection with a person that you would not have been connected to, all because this job or this opportunity was bringing you forward. Life and the mystery of life is so much deeper and so much richer than the surface area that we work on. And just know that life is always working for you, through you, and as you. As you is relative to your vibration. So as you raise your vibration, you start to be on a timeline of your highest and best potential. And that's where true magic starts to unfold. And gratitude is one of the key ways of being able to get there. So basically, yeah, just think about following your highest desire, number one. Number two, if you don't know your human design, there's an invitation below to get your design snapshot. Explore it, reach out to Jen or myself, be part of our workshop that's coming up in August. And number three, heart-centered service, whatever way that is being expressed for you at any given moment. Maybe it's just a compliment to somebody else, letting them know that they're being seen, heard, acknowledged, and gratitude. Grateful for life itself, because there's so many things that life offers us, and we start to see the good. We multiply the good, not only in our lives, but in the lives of others. We can truly create heaven on earth just by that shifting our perspective and seeing the good, seeing the blessings, being grateful for life. So hopefully you enjoyed this. I'm going to share this out there. Please comment below anything that you find that lifts you up, that raises your vibration, whether or not one of these items that I spoke to you, one of the magic four that I shared just now, or maybe there's something else that works for you. So please share this video, like and subscribe, and more to come. Jen and I are going to be interviewing some more people. It's going to be quite the thing that we've got planned going ahead. So yeah, please share, subscribe, tell your friends about this channel. Namaste. Have a great day, beautiful life, and look forward to seeing you on the next video.